Hey, what is going on, guys? Today I am going to be covering the Poison Dynamite. Now, this was a newly released item in the last update at the time of this video anyways. Now, I will try to cover everything about this item that I possibly can, but I'm sure as this is a newly released item, I'm probably going to end up missing a couple of things. So if you guys have any information that I missed in this video, please leave a comment down below, and that way it can spread to anybody else that might want to know about it. With that being said, I am going to be covering exactly what the Poison Dynamite is and why it was added to Old School RuneScape. Then I'll talk about how you can actually obtain the Poison Dynamite, how you can actually utilize it, and what it brings to Old School RuneScape. Now, for starters, what Poison Dynamite actually is, it's exactly what it sounds like. It is dynamite that you can utilize against NPCs and potentially have the ability to poison them. Now, for any of you that might have previously played on a unique style account that was limited to combat experience, you probably know why this item was added to Old School RuneScape. And that is because there used to be a method for these types of accounts to actually manipulate the ticks in the game to allow them to attack NPCs without obtaining any combat experience off the first hit of the NPC spawning. Now, there's a lot more detail that I can go into about that, but that's not really what the point of this video is. But all you need to know was this method that people used to utilize actually ended up getting patched due to a bug that people were abusing. There's actually quite a bit of a large community that actually utilized this method legitimately to help prevent any combat experience on their unique accounts, and Jagex realized this after they patched the method, so they decided to come up with the Poison Dynamite to help ease the mind of some of these players and give them the ability to use this same method just in a different and more safe way. Now, as far as how this Poison Dynamite actually works, there's actually quite a bit of stuff that goes into utilizing this Poison Dynamite, which is why I honestly believe I will probably end up missing out some useful information. So like I said, if you guys notice me missing anything, please comment down below so others can see that. But I will try to cover this as best as possible. So first, to talk about how exactly this Poison Dynamite works, all you have to do is use a tinderbox on it and it will light the Poison Dynamite. After that, you have 3 seconds or 5 in-game ticks before that Poison Dynamite explodes. Now, any NPC within a 3x3 area of where you lit the Poison Dynamite will be affected by the explosion and can deal anywhere from 0 to 6 damage, which is scaled off of your fire-making level. If the explosion manages to actually hit the NPC, there's also a 25% chance to poison the target. Now, this is just like any other poison in the game. It starts off at 6 damage and then it'll eventually start to dwell down from there. You also have the ability to utilize the Poison Dynamite on the specific NPC you want to attack, and it will stick to that NPC and then you'll proceed to light it. That way you don't really have to worry about the NPC being within that 3x3 area, as I mentioned previously. One thing to note when you are actually utilizing this Poison Dynamite is you almost have to think about it as a weapon. When you are using this, it is scaled off of your combat stance as well as the currently equipped weapons and gear that you are utilizing. So if your NPC is weak to range, for instance, you're going to want to equip a bow as well as your best overall range stat equipment to get the best possible chance of dealing damage to this NPC with the Poison Dynamite. Now let's talk about how you actually obtain and create Poison Dynamite. To actually make the Poison Dynamite, you need at least level 50 fire making to even create it. This is not a tradable item, so everybody who wants to use this actually has to create it themselves. Once you have 50 fire making though, you then have to collect Cave Nightshade. Now, there are 2 ways that you can actually obtain Cave Nightshade. The first one and the easiest way to obtain it is through farming. Now, this requires level 63 farming to plant this, and there's only one patch, and that is in Draenor Manor. You have to plant Belladonna seeds in the patch, which will then give you Cave Nightshade in return. Now, this unfortunately is not notable, so keep that in mind for those of you that are Ultimate Iron Man trying to use this. But the other method to actually obtain this is a lot more complicated, and I really don't recommend this, but I'm going to mention it anyways. You actually have to start the Watchtower quest and make it to the point in the quest where you receive the Scavid map. Now, this actually requires you killing a level 63 ogre. So I know this is kind of a difficult challenge for a lot of people who will actually be utilizing this item, which is why I don't recommend it. But you can kill this level 63 ogre in different methods, and once you do kill this ogre, then you'll be able to enter the caves with a light source where you can then pick up cave nightshade spawns within the caves that respawn every 52 seconds. So this is another way you can actually obtain this. But like I said, I really recommend you guys do the first method, which is just farming them. It's a lot easier and you don't have to worry about anything. The only other item that you need to create poison dynamite is the dynamite itself. Now you can purchase this from the Grand Exchange or from a shop if you are an Iron Man near the blast mine from Tyrus. He will actually sell you dynamite as well. Once you have the dynamite and the cave nightshade, you just utilize them together and it creates the poison dynamite. Now it actually takes 3 cave nightshades per poison dynamite, so keep that in mind. You're going to need quite a bit of cave nightshade if you plan on using this for any method. Honestly, it's going to take quite a bit of poison dynamite to kill any NPC at all because it's not very accurate. So again, keep that in mind when you are doing this method. So I know I talked about how this actually works, but I'm just going to go into a little bit more detail and show you guys in footage so you can get a better understanding on how this works. So once you have your NPC that you want to attack, again, you have the 2 methods. You can either light it on the ground and hope that the NPC you're trying to attack is within the 3x3 square tile near the poison dynamite to deal damage, or you can just attach it to the NPC itself and light it that way, which is a little bit easier. But again, if it doesn't deal any damage, don't be discouraged. It takes a lot of times to actually deal damage to this, and then you also have to pray that it deals poison damage most of the time. So keep that in mind as well. It can be very frustrating. I know a lot of people do not like using this item because of this, but again, this is how it's intended to be. So it can be frustrating, but you just got to deal with it and keep trying. Now, another thing to keep in mind is if the NPC you're attacking is actually immune to poison, then the poison dynamite is not going to poison it, obviously, because the NPC is immune to it. Now, one thing I did want to add to this video that I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about is this a viable method for training Slayer on a level 3 account? And to answer that shortly, I'm just going to simply say no. Now, what this item actually brings to RuneScape is still kind of up in the air because of it being so new to the game still at the time of this video. There's a lot of theory crafting going on, and it's all just speculation at this point in time as to what this item can actually do. However, I still want to discuss about the potential possibilities that it can bring to the table. The main thing I visualize this item being used for is achievement diaries or quests that require you to kill a certain NPC, or just to obtain a certain item such as ice gloves for lower combat accounts. But probably the coolest thing in theory that this item can bring to RuneScape is the ability to kill bosses on very low level accounts. Now, Jagex did state that this was not going to be able to be utilized within the Tazar area, which means Fire Capes is out of the picture when using this item. But there are a few potential bosses that could be killed with this item just at first glance. Now, what exactly is killable with this item, I'm not completely sure. However, it's still going to be an insane achievement if you do manage to obtain one of these boss pets on a very low level account, just because of the amount of poison dynamite you would have to utilize. I am curious about your guys' opinion on the poison dynamite update, or maybe you guys had better intentions for the item. I know a lot of people don't necessarily like it, so let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. Hopefully you found this guide somewhat helpful, and I do apologize again if I forgot or missed anything in this video, but hopefully you guys found it helpful. And if you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I hopefully will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much.